Hello, everyone. Welcome to some more Round 1 action from the Final Fantasy Spring 2020 tournament. My name is Edgeworth, and I'm joined in the booth today by the man, the myth, the legend, the Greggly Puff. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty awesome, Edge. Thanks for having me out here. I am super stoked to do our first race on this amazing Friday afternoon. We have how many races going on today? Like 11 or something ridiculous?
11. It's a nice prime number.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have a race happening now. At 4 o'clock, we're going to have a race on Speed Gaming 2. We're going to have one on 3. We're going to have one on 4. I think the 6 has been brought in. We've got all kinds of races happening all throughout the day. And this is the first one of the day. Little Final Fantasy Randomizer. Hopefully, you guys are super excited to watch this as I am. So what do we got? Who are our two racers today?
We've got Guda, a long-time savvy vet of the community and intrepid Iron Goaler. And then we've got Durrun, who I don't know very much about. Do you?
I really don't. I know that he's from one of the other randomizer communities, decided to join us for this race. I don't think he's played Final Fantasy Randomizer before, so it should be interesting to see how he tackles this seed. Whereas Guda did play in Spring Tournament last year. I want to say it was his first time playing through the randomizer, so pretty wild how that happens. I'm interested to see how the whole thing goes down. But we're going to go on ahead and let these racers go right now.
We've got our countdown going, and the runners will catch up soon enough. Looks like we've got Fighter Rainbow on Guda's side, and I didn't catch what was on Durrun's side, but doesn't look like we'll have any black belts today.
Yeah, well, that's a big bummer. I mean, come on. Don't you just like punching your way through everything? That's what I enjoy doing.
Yeah, Fighter, black belt, white mage, black mage. So that's that's how it's looking.
All right. Well, yeah, Caleb helping us out. Looks like we started. Durrun's, he's going to go on ahead and get started here in just a second. And we're going to get a first look at our white magic. We've got Heal 2 and Cure 4 white locked, or well, the Cure 4 is for the red wizard at some point. And the only AoE we have is Lit 2. How do you feel about these spells so far?
Well, I'm just glad to get any sort of AoE at Lit 2, but Cure 4 being, Red Mage learnable post-promotion, Knight learnable, White Mage learnable immediately, it's a pretty good one to have in your back pocket.
Yeah, I like that. Unfortunately, man, those cabins are not very cheap. And, yeah, so we're good to go. Guda out of the city. He's going to probably murder some imps real quick. And Durrun, he's going to go on ahead and check out the city. He's going to check his magic first off as Guda kills a bunch of imps. Gaining a level in the process. You know what? It's kind of nice. It's kind of refreshing to see imps not doing anything crazy like freaking Nuke or Thunder or something.
Yeah, I had Death Touch imps in one of my practice seeds, but it's not too bad of an idea. Get level 3 across the board. That extra HP makes getting through Temple of Fiends a lot safer, so a little bit more of a conservative play. Can't really argue against it. I used to do it religiously back in the old days of FFR.
Yeah, so Guda is going to be our first runner into Temple of Fiends. Obviously, with these flags, we have a loose canal. And we also have 2 loose items as well. And Guda's burning off some encounters. There's like 3 right off the hard reset. So checking these chests, not a bad plan, considering you are basically looking for 3 loose items. And you'd hate to leave something like the canal in this room.
And you never know what you can find. There have been plenty of seeds where you pull something out like maybe an early mage staff, maybe a good weapon like the Sun Sword. There's a lot of things that could dictate your strategy for the rest of the game just based on the early chests that you open up.
Yeah, I mean, I rolled a practice seed once that had massa in this top chest that he's checking right now. Well, it looks like he found a bunch of money, which is going to pretty much get him through, probably through Elfland at least, to get magic on those 3 mages.
Yeah, and the extra lit 2 spell charges that he has from getting level 2 and level 3 is helping him out a lot, so he can take out these fights without too much stress. Although that poor black mage is about to keel over.
Yeah, but at least he was able to get through that. And we got a bottle, and I didn't catch that first thing.
That was a cube.
Well, neither of those are going to be relatively useful right now, but at least one of them is go mode.
And I think Durrun is finished shopping and is now headed up to Temple of Fiends. So.
Yeah, I assume he grabbed a lot of the same spells that that Guda grabbed. He's going to head north. He's going to check out these imps. He's going to reset out of the imp battle. And then he's going to head north towards the Temple of Fiends. And probably do the same checks that Guda did. Hit up those chests and kill him a Garland.
Alright, Guda going back and grabbing some more magic.
Yeah, may as well load up while you're here. That way you don't have to head back into the city again.
Yeah, Durrun going right for Garland, which is something that I like to do when there is, when there's a very expensive save item in Canaria. Because you never know when Garland's just going to be a jerk and has Blizzard or Zap or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then again, you just never know what you're going to see from these from those chests. I mean, luckily he's not going to leave anything on the table except for all that money, so he'll be fine not checking those chests. And Durrun making short work of Garland. He's going to go on ahead and save it up, and he'll probably hop into his ship and be not too far behind Guda as far as making it to Provoca.
Might want to grab those chests too. We'll see how this gets routed out.
And Guda going straight for the pirates, which that's a pretty standard play. You don't need to mess around, especially if you have AoE. Just throw a couple of weights, a couple of lit 2s, and you're good to go.
Yeah, Durrun is going to split off and check Matoya's. That's 3 easy chests to get to.
Yeah, and I'm assuming since he's never played the game, he's probably just like knows that's the way you're supposed to go in vanilla. May not realize he has the ship. And then we've got the chime, so sky is wide open right now if we find the canal.
Yeah, we've also got a very expensive crystal in Provoca for 21k. I don't know how the magic looks, but if we don't see any harm or fire or nuke, well, that's pretty level.
Yeah, I mean, luckily Guda did check those chests and got that 11k out of there. We got exit, life, wall. I mean, white magic's stacked right now.
Yeah, we've got Ice 3 and Barak. So unfortunately, not anything that you can use for a Peninsula of Power Grind, so if that crystal leads to something important, they may have to put that off for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm assuming these Guda's going to hope that Matoya's Cave has something. I did not see what Durrun got out of Matoya's Cave, but hopefully he's looking for money, so he's going to check these 5 easy checks, Matoya's Cave and Dwarf's Cave. Hopefully get at least a little bit closer to that 21k. And then he's going to...
Like regular ogres have thunder, so Durrun takes a wipe there and didn't save outside of Matoya's Cave, so loses all that progress.
Yeah, unfortunately, since he didn't check those chests, he didn't really have the money. And there wasn't really much in Matoya's Cave to begin with, as Guda goes on ahead and resets out of that.
Come on, there's a nice baseball cap.
I mean, caps are pretty cool. I'm bald. I sometimes wear one to protect my head from the elements. And we get a first look at level 3 magic. We got a Quad X. Quad X is a really awesome spell. Like, it's definitely one of my favorites for sure. You can pretty much insta-kill anything that's... And there's Fade. Red Mage learnable and White Mage learnable. So he is... and that's Knight learnable as well. He's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, this is a very solid White Mage seed. Life early, Cure 4 early, Exit early. So... party selection paying off for both runners.
Yeah, and even that Harm 4 looks pretty good, especially if you don't want to use those Fade charges going into Marsh Cave. You know, you can just mow down those undead.
Yeah, it works pretty well in Ice Cave. Save those Fade charges for Frost Dragons and Sorcerer packs.
Yeah, and Guda's making his beeline towards Marsh Cave, even though he didn't check Dwarf's Cave. So... I guess he's just going to go for it, which, I mean, there's more chests down in Marsh Cave than the 2 that are in Dwarves, but it's, you know, you still got to go to Marsh Cave. Who wants to do that?
Well, Gouda may be thinking, you know, hey, I've got Exit early. I need a bunch of money to buy that crystal. Let me just do a Marsh dive. Even if I don't find anything, I get the money for the crystal, and if you do find something, well, that's pretty great, too.
Yeah, and it looks like Durrun gets his chime after murdering some pirates. And he's going to more than likely, if he has not already, check out the level 2 spells here. And then he'll do a lot of the same, try to get out of this area and probably head towards Marsh Cave. And we're going to see armor here, which we don't have a lot. You got some gloves. You know, those are nice. You know, they protect your hands. He finds out the bad news about the crystal.
It got some nice up and mitts in there. Although gloves can be real good when cursed and blessed weapons are on. Sure.
Absolutely. Give me gloves +5 all day long. I will wear them until I find pro ring -5. Let's see what this muck is all about here. We'll never see. Gouda going topside. Just finding all those annoying enemies. You want to talk about why everyone hates Marsh? Like, what's so dangerous about Marsh besides just scarring our childhoods in the 90s?
So there's a couple of things. There's some annoying enemies to deal with in low-level situations. So, for instance, the Scorpions hit pretty hard. The Gargoyles hit pretty hard. Anything that's on the random trap tiles, you're likely to be a little weaker than you would like to be, so they'll hit you pretty hard too.
Man, what?
There's so many different enemies in this that when you shuffle scripts, chances are something nasty's going to show up here.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the thing, is that you have scums, you have mucks, you have zombies, you've got werewolves, you've got girl wolves, you've got, you know, ghouls, you've got all kinds of just ugly, bad monsters that can roll something.
Yeah, and they show up in fairly large packs when your ability to run away from things is kind of at its weakest. So.
And another thing that, you know, a lot of people don't mention is that because there's so many different enemy packs, an unrunnable enemy pack is more than likely going to roll into there as well. So then you could end up running into a situation where you can't even mow down or run away from enemies. And oh no, Durrun takes another wipe on those Thunder Ogres. But luckily he was able to save the game after getting the chime. And he's going to head back towards Canary and figure out what happened with his boat.
Yeah, I think just took the land route from Matoya's cave, so all the way from Provoca or Canary.
Yeah, again, like I said, relatively. Ooh, wow, big pickup in Marsh Cave. Regardless of whether the canal's here or not, coming here is already paid dividends to Gouda.
Yeah, we've got the legendary Marsh Moon.
Yeah, in my opinion, NASA, especially with this party, it's completely worth it. It is worth its weight in gold, as they say. And he's going to go on ahead and check out our first spike tile that's completely randomized. Not only randomized, but it has those B-side tiles in it, so it's not the normal spike tiles that you see in the vanilla game.
Yeah, That's not a bad person to run into. There's an opal armor. I haven't seen a lot of real big ticket gold items, so Guda may end up cashing in that opal armor to pick up that crystal. All depends on how high it rolled.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, we have 2 loose items plus the canal. We have what we call. We don't have the. We don't know if we're going to find the tail. Is basically what I'm getting at. And I mean, you'd hope you find something that'll get you through Topher. And the last check happens to be the canal, so he is good to go.
Yeah, Yahtzee. Just throw that exit down and grab a couple chests on the way out.
Yeah, he's going to feel pretty good. I mean, he's only 13 minutes in, and he's already cleared out Marsh Cave. He's got his canal. He's got a Massa. And if he has enough money, he's got the opal armor. And Durrun is going to check these 2 chests in Dwarf Cave and get the bad news that it's just money in there. No canal.
Yeah, so unfortunately, not even enough to pick that crystal up, so gonna have to figure out some other plan. And yeah, we're checking out how much is that. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, I think a max price opal armor I'd be selling.
Yeah, it feels kind of bad if you never find any of the other premium armors, but you just got to do it. It just opens up so much for you.
Yeah, I mean, you'd hate to leave the crystal off the table and the crystal happens to be the canoe or something that's really important as far as progression is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, even if you sell the opal armor and you get an opal Cheerio, and that's not a bad trade. It looks like Durrun's thinking about where to go next. Doing a lot of running around.
It's gonna be like at least over an hour. So I'm gonna be doing this. So let's just please enjoy it. I'll be back. So Guda, what? He's heading back into Provoca to get his crystal.
Yeah, not only that, stock up on heal potions and get a couple houses as well, which is pretty important if you've got somebody that can cast exit.
Yeah, and it looks like Durrun's gonna head back into Matoya's cave and figure out what he's missing. I'm assuming he just does not realize that ship is right there. And yeah, I mean, getting all that money is huge because as you can see, the camping gear very expensive. I mean, cabins. Heals are 101. You hate to see heals roll that high. And of course, the houses are what, almost $3,000.
Yeah, pretty high, but not super unreasonable. I've seen them be crazier than that.
Ooh, Sahags with Glaring. Oh my gosh, he's gonna take a wipe on that. That is rough, Guda.
Yeah, seafood fighting back.
Yeah, that's the thing about randomizing scripts and spells and skills. I mean, you can run into an early enemy like that that'll ambush you and just wipe you randomly.
All right, so let's see what this crystal turns into.
Yeah, I didn't even think about what chat's pointing out. MG Weirdo saying in chat that maybe Durrun thinks he needs to get that money to pick up that crystal. And oh my gosh, how are you going to raise that kind of money if you don't think you can even get out of this particular area?
You would have to pop grind, but a pop grind with only Ice 3 feels real bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd do better with Lit 2 trying to do a pop grind than Ice 3. You got to hope for Giants or Tyros, and even Tyros probably you're not going to do much against them with Ice 3.
Yeah, they have a lot of magic resist, so
yeah, they're one of those weird enemies. Don't they have the highest MDef? Don't they have max MDef?
It's upward of 200, I think. It's real hard to even bracket Tyro.
Which is pretty weird because they're a dinosaur. I mean, why? It just makes no sense, is all I'm trying to say. Programmers of this game.
They don't want to turn into fossils any more than you or me.
Well, looks like Guda's got everything he's doing. He's just picking up some more cabins, getting some more gear, getting himself nice and ready before he explores and gets out of this inner sea, which, again, like I said, I mean, his time, man, like getting out of this area under 20 minutes, it's got to feel pretty good for him. And do you think he means to leave his Black Mage down? I mean, he's been to a couple cities now, and I guess he's pretty happy with his double fade.
Yeah, at this point, there's a lot of good stuff on the table. I would still be concerned about availability of fast and exit, though. Or, excuse me, fast and temper.
Yeah, I was
probably work.
Yeah, I was going to say kind of the same thing. I mean, as of right now, his red mage can only learn one spell out of what he currently has right now, which is the top slot in level 5, up until promotion. But then he only it's the top and the bottom at level 5. Sorry, and then oh, look at that, lazy dwarves. That feels pretty good.
It's like lazy dwarves in reverse. All right, here you go. So. We've got TNT to adamant to... Oh, God. There's the Ruby.
All right, well, that's at least 2 turn-ins, and he's going to head towards... Hey, we got a hooray dwarfs. That always feels pretty good.
Hooray.
Yeah, so what I was trying to say was, like, he's only really got 2 more spells he can get. It's that top and bottom slots at level 5. And then once he gets class change, he can only get slots 2 and 3, and then he can only get the top slot at level 6. So he's kind of, I mean, it's a risky play when you don't have fast or temper yet. All right, he's still just kind of wandering around. He's gonna either run or murder some imps there, Durrun. Hopefully, I feel horrible right now. Hopefully, he notices it's like right there. Ship's just docked right there, and hopefully he happens to just see it there, and he realizes that he has some sort of progression that isn't just grinding money for a crystal.
Yeah, he's pretty well stuck right now. Unfortunately, if he just doesn't see that ship, feels bad.
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking on this side. You hate to see it. Hopefully he gets it figured out. He's just kind of looking over some stuff right now. Wow, steel! Look at that armor shop there. Silver armor more expensive than steel armor.
You're paying for aesthetics. It just looks nicer.
Yeah, but we all know that the steel armor is a trap anyway. What in vanilla it's like 45 grand, and there's the floater.
Oh wow!
That's actually really good.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a jet seat. Not only does Guda have this check, but also Crescent Lake. So
yeah,
a lot of items on the table.
Yeah, and I have to say, finding the floater before finding the canoe always feels good because there's less places to find the canoe versus if you find the canoe first, there's more places the floater can be. And there he goes. Durrun finally finds his ship, and he realizes he's like, oh, wait, look at this ship. I can go do things.
Oh, all right. So that was a little worrisome, but we're on the right track now.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, Hanger Canuck. Like I said, relatively new to the game. I think this is one of the first runs he's ever done, so he probably just didn't notice it there, which is totally fine. This game has a high learning curve. I mean, there's a lot going on, and a power bonk feels pretty good.
That's not too bad. Pair that with a defense sword, and you feel pretty good about your survivability.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know what this means, right? Look at his items. What does he have? He has a chime, and he has a cube. We've already got the vendor item, and unless the old men in Crescent have the canoe, he's going to have to go digging in either top Earth, or he's going to have to dig out all of Sky looking for a loose item.
Oh, the legendary Sky Canoe.
Yeah, Sky Canoe, I don't know how I feel about it with these spells. I mean, Ice 3 always looks good on paper until you realize that so many enemies resist ice in this.
Yeah, it's surprising. And Durrun getting knocked down again by Thunder, but yeah, Ice being the most damaging of the elemental spells, but a lot of things resist it. So you get some mileage out of it in Sea. It does pretty well in Sky, but early game, yeah, you don't want to be casting that on Ghosts.
No, not at all. You'd really hate to see. You'd really hate to try to get through Ice Cave using Ice 3 on pretty much wizards and mummies and all kinds of nonsense that's down there. All the geists and specters and whatever doing 30 damage.
The ogres also have extra.
And it looks like he's going to try to raise up his defenses. At least he has Ice 3 now, so he can like kind of mow these packs down and get some levels that he needs. And yeah, I mean these glare Sahag's given Gouda the business, but at least he has that life spell at level 3, so he should be able to bring his people back to life. And it looks like he did bring his black belt or his other black mage up, which he must have looked at level 5 spells and was like, you know what, I probably should keep my black mage alive.
Yeah, and this is one of those seeds where you just look at it and like, man, I should have bought like 50 cabins.
I always do that. That's something Thunder and I always talk about. Like the second I find like cheap camping gear, I pretty much just max out on it because it's just annoying when you're like on the water system or the river system or just wherever, and you just keep running into these like insta kill death freaking mob of enemies.
Yeah, I mean, even though those 9-packs that Guda632 just reset out of, pretty annoying to deal with too.
Yeah, and with the encounter rate being 100%, I mean, you're going to get encounters pretty regularly. And we get our first look at Crescent Intense. Finally, we find some cheap camping gear. Like I said before, I'd be buying probably like 100 of these things, even though you can only buy 99.
Yeah, no doubt. I would load up on at least 70 of those. But another big ticket item. Look how cheap these pro rings are.
I was just about to say the same thing. I looked down and was like, what? There has to be at least one digit missing from.
I'll take them all. Just load up the cart.
Yeah. And what's so special about pro rings, man?
8 absorb and death elemental resistance. It's the best gear bar none that you can put in that arm slot.
Yeah, and then we've got the jet seed. The canoe happened to be here. We're not going to be doing any loose checks for canoe and sky or anything. Guda's going to head south, and he'll be in the air at about the 26-minute mark if he can get past these enemies.
Yeah, and that's real fast for this week of flags. So the world's your oyster. Where are you going? Probably dig that tail out and promote as soon as you can.
Yeah, so I'm thinking the same thing. At this point, you have an airship, you've got Chime, you've got Cube, you need Oxyale to open up C so you can get that incentive C, and you need the Rod to finish out Earth. We need Key and we need Loot. And there's like a bunch of places we can go. Where do you go? You've already done Sarda. You've already done the Ruby check. You've got Ice, you've got Ordeals, you've got Waterfall. You got the Bottle Turning, which is clearly what he's doing now.
And we got Opal Bracelet.
All right.
So at least one of the 2 key items loose items is going to be required.
Yep, because right now we have Power Bonk, we have Opal Bracelet. The only item out there that's left is the Thor's Hammer. And with this particular party set, I'm assuming they're going to want the tail. So yeah, we're going to be looking for at least one loose item, if not both.
Yeah, in a situation like this, you have a couple of different options. Scooter takes the Soria, good experience. If you feel like you're behind on equipment, doing a top-level volcano dive is pretty nice. You could also dig out Cardia Islands as well. If you feel like you've got pretty good equipment and you just want to knock out progression, then I would say do Waterfall or do Ordeals.
Yeah, I mean, he's right there, so I think Ordeals is the right routing play. You're just next to the area. You may as well get in there and check out what that item is. Ordeals is a pretty quick check as long as you don't get stuck in the pillar maze.
Well, the other thing too is he's got a pretty good run at the start after burning off those encounters. So if he takes a whammy, he at least knows what pillars are good and what pillars are bad. You can just reset back into it. Oh, did he just clutch this out? Finish this in one shot? Zombies always good in the experience department, so you're not unhappy to run into them, even if they are unrunnable. Gargoyles are jerks, though. Is that a cat?
Oh, that's weird. You got sharks in the second level of a castle.
It's not even underwater.
This game doesn't even make any sense half the time.
Yeah, next you're going to tell me there's a castle that's floating in the sky, right?
Or that somehow 4 people are going to share one helmet to go underwater.
They're just really good at holding their breath. Ooh, loose item the first. We found it in Ordeals. It's the rod.
So the first loose item has been found, and it is required. You gotta like to see that. You like to see loose items kind of on your way to places that you have to go to anyway.
Yeah, it's always nice when you dig one out of ice, you dig one out of Ordeals. Couple zombie dragons, that's a pretty good fight to take too.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, it's kind of like French vanilla there, right? Oh, wait, no. Sorry. I thought that was the tile. That's the encounter number 8, which, hey, we got that fixed. Now we see all these weird, rare encounters you don't typically see in the game because it has been shuffled to be maybe less rare.
Yeah, it's always nice to see the double fighters in Sky. Not so nice to see the Naga and Six Waters in Temple of
You are not lying. Naga and Six Waters unrunnable with Thunder. That's no, thank you.
Yeah, we also we got another key item in Ordeals. It's the key.
Yeah, you gotta like to see that. Well, key is key. It's the key to the end of the game, believe it or not. And Guda's going to go ahead and take a couple of levels from the Sentry Guard pack.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You got some extra fade charges at the end of the dungeon, and you're hitting the Sentry pretty good with Nazmune, so...
Yeah, and I have to say, with this particular scaling, if you can do like a quick, even a quick full party grind, like maybe spend like 2 minutes, gain like 2 or 3 levels, you're good to go. You don't really need to do another grind. You should be at about level 24-ish by the time you make it to Topher, which is where you want to be with that Massa.
Yeah, especially you get the 5th hit, and if you got Power Gauntlet, you just need that defense sword to do some good solo work.
Yeah, and Guda's got to be feeling pretty good about himself because I think we went through everything. We're looking for the loot, right? And we're looking for the Oxyale. That's pretty much it as far as go mode for Guda, correct?
Yeah, it looks to be that way. Still got a bunch of fetch quest items to go, so chances are he's gonna hit those first. Durrun doing a quick tour of Northwest Castle, and looks like he's headed down to Marsh now, so that'll get him back on track. Oh, more owners with Thunder. Jeez.
Yeah, I know, and I again, my heart's kind of bleeding for Durrun because I know that he's relatively new. This is probably one of the first FFR races he's ever done, and these ogres are just giving him the business. And he's finally making it down to Marsh Cave, and like you said, this is going to give him everything he needs with that massa being down here, with the the progression and the canal being down here. It'll finally get him to kind of open the game up a little bit.
Yeah, and there's fast at level 4. One of the things that it's important for the newer runners to learn is why you buy all of that camping gear in the first place, and it's to avoid enemies like your thunder ogres and your nasty sea hags on the overworld.
Yeah, and Guda's going to go on ahead and do some keylock stuff. I like the play because there's still the one loose item out there, and it's a pretty quick play. And he only has like 2 more incentive locations to go with the waterfall and the ice cave to go. And everyone, just like the marsh cave, no one really likes to go to ice cave.
Yeah, the other nice thing about the key check is you get to take a peek at 2 of these encounter tiles. And you also haven't found a ribbon yet either. And for a lot of people, that's crucial for getting through Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, in my opinion, you need at least 1 ribbon. Like, there's just no way around it. I mean, you can YOLO 0 ribbons and then run into a Bane Tiamat, and that would just end your run immediately.
And speaking of ending your run, it looks like Scum's had Ice 2, and Arachnid's had Paralysis Touch.
Ooh, we got a black shirt. Man, Guda saw none of that in Marsh Cave. He made Marsh Cave look like, well, it made it look like anything but Marsh Cave. But luckily, it looks like Durrun's getting some decent turn order, and he's going to get these 3 chests, or these 4 chests on the top side. He's not going to need anything from up here.
Alright, white magic. Nothing you really care about in the moment.
Yeah, right, temper. I was going to say temper in the warp slot. You hate to see that because, well, you got to find the tail in order to learn that temper. And we talk about how important temper is. There's nothing more important than being able to raise your attack power, especially going into Topher.
Yeah, fast is better than temper for the first cast, but temper stacks and fast doesn't. So you need plenty of both.
And Guda doing the ice cave without I don't remember seeing warp. Did you see warp?
No, we didn't get a check of the level 7 shops either. So if it's 7 or 8, you might as well just go ahead and do it, because by the time you get those levels.
And I think that's what he's thinking too. He's trying to get some more information, and I think he doesn't want to dive waterfall until he gets the Oxyale. That's something I like to do because you want to get all that stuff done in that area in one go, as opposed to having to double dip the area. And I didn't notice, did Durrun... Oh, gosh, who else has Thunder? Which one of these guys in this pack has Thunder?
Oh, there's the images, so Guda's getting the business.
Yeah, if it's images, that's really bad because they pop up in big packs in Earth Cave, too. And MG Weirdo helping us out here, letting us know it was, in fact, the images. And Guda going... Guda going B-strats there, making sure he doesn't accidentally slip on a banana peel and fall down one of the holes.
Yeah, that is just a killer right there. I have involuntarily skipped chests because of banana peels on that floor.
Yeah, and looks like we got some red snacks. They're just gonna annoy Guda as he continues to clear this area. You got a mage stick for all your issues, so that's kind of a decent find, especially considering where you are right now.
Yeah, at least that's some compensation for a pain in the ass of crossing that tile twice.
Yeah.
Scums also have frost too, which is not good with the amount of health that Durrun's characters have right now.
Yeah, at least he knew to pick up Fade, which is obviously the best white magic spell in the game, and he's able to clear those scums out pretty easily. Oh gosh, ambushing sags on this tile.
Oh god, that's rude.
And the worst part is they're throwing out Glare, and we talked about how pro rings have Death Elemental. Glare is not. Unfortunately, Glare is one of those weird spells that is Time Elemental, so it's not resisted by the pro ring.
All right, Durrun learning about link chests. That's another tricky thing for new players to learn about.
Yeah, I never knew that was kind of a thing as a child. I just was like, why are all these chests empty? We got Arbones, like my totally favorite in the history of time pack of enemies. I don't know why, they just always roll like 1,000,000 hit points, and they always do something dumb. And I mean, have you ever rolled a seed with friendly Arbones?
Yeah, no, they've got 400 HP and they just cast like Dark and Flash.
And I want to go on ahead and just thank everybody for being here. It's Speed Gaming. We're on the Prime station, and look at that. Durrun finds his canal. He's got to be pretty stoked about that. Got Caleb out there. Trenton is here. What? Oh my gosh. We got MG Weirdo, of course, as our tracker. Edgeworth as my comms partner. Will Cleosis is out there. We got a big old group of people that I'm excited to have here watching us do our thing. It is Spring Tournament 2020, and this is what, day 3 or 4 of the first round of Swiss?
Yeah, and you just talked about it. You want to get that Oxyel first? Well, there it is. That's what was in Ice Cave.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, at this point, this is an interesting play. You've got 2 key items you can get, Head into Waterfall and Sea Shrine, and you have a 50-50, or no, you have a 60-something% chance that it's going to be that last item that you need, which is the loot. I'm interested to see why he's why he's coming to an unincentive dungeon.
Yeah, it's an interesting play. He's just checking out a lot of loose chests, but Volcano's pretty good as far as chests per minute, especially if you have Exit or Warp. And maybe he just wants a ribbon.
Nah, I kind of have to agree too. And I make some of those kind of goofy plays where if you can get into the first or second floor of a dungeon and be able to open, I don't know, like 15 chests or whatever, then even if there are still a couple of incentive locations left, it might be best to do that. And looks like Durrun's heading back down. Did he take a wipe on the way back out?
I am not sure. Looks like it.
Man, this marsh cave giving him the business like it gave me the business in 1991.
Yeah, I distinctly remember the old strategy guide telling you to pick up 99 heal potions.
Yeah, you had to have 99 heal potions, you had to have 20 pure pots, and you had to be at least level 10 before you could even think about going into Marsh Cave.
And then there's us jokers that do it now at level 3.
Well, my favorite part too about the strategy guide is it's like, oh, the thief is like, it can run from things. No, it can't. Not in vanilla. It's all about the second slot person. The thief was like completely useless in that game.
Some would say he still is, but
I mean, even with thief buffs, I mean, he needs some HP is all I'm saying.
And shout outs to Corrido in chat for getting us set up. Always good to work with him in Speed Game.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, Corrido, I mean, pulling all kinds of duty right now. He called a race that he restreamed the race that I called last night around 10 o'clock. So, I mean, he's just restreaming whenever they need him to do it. And there's our dragon armor, totally making it worth getting rid of that opal armor from earlier.
Yeah, so you're all set. Just where's that dang tail?
Yeah, so the dragon armor, so the opal armor and the dragon armor, they have the same absorb and evade, if I remember correctly, but the dragon armor resists ice, fire, and thunder, whereas the opal armor only defends against lightning. Is that correct?
Yep, 100%. And holy cow, there's the defense sword. So you have the solo warrior starter kit right there.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing pretty. Oh my gosh, is Thunder on the Medusa script? Because this is the third time we've seen it now.
Right after Trance. So no, just this is what a gross tile. Wow.
Yeah, that's ugly. You hate to see, and that's wow. Trance coming out, ruining his day, and then Thunder just mowing him down the rest of the way.
But yeah, I'm not leaving defense behind.
Yeah, and I think Durrun did keep his canal, but he went back in. I guess he wanted to just make sure he got all the chests down there. And,
yeah, he may not have been sure whether how the key locks work down there. So
I mean, as of right now, as long as he knows what areas are incentivized, he should be fine. With the rod being where it's located, he'll be able to find it pretty easily as long as he goes to ordeals. And we don't even know if the second loose item is required. And hopefully Gouda can avoid that fire encounter this time around. It was a number 8 encounter, so hopefully he just won't see it and he can exit out of here with all this good gear. Geez, we got pro rings, we had I see a flame armor and an ice armor and all kinds of great stuff down here.
Yeah, defense sword being the big ticket item there. Dragon armor, great, but can't use it yet. And let's see what's on the next floor, because Gouda definitely has the goods to take on carry right now.
Yeah, I'm assuming Gouda's just going more for the let's just make sure there's not a weird second loose item that I need. He knows that loot puts him in go mode. Maybe he thinks that the other two are going to lead to Tail and Thor's hammer, and he just wants to. He's here. He may as well kill him a carry before he moves on to the next part of the game.
All right, Durrun stocking up on some magic as well. Fast, always good to get. Ice 2 is going to be pretty valuable to have some extra charges of that volcano.
Yeah, and Wokalios is pointing out in chat, I mean, he will be calling another race. We didn't think he'd call a race ever again, but he's going to be calling his second race in the spring tournament over on our sister network, Randomania, at 6:30 Eastern Daylight Savings Time. I'm going to pull up the schedule here while Gouda goes through this thing, and I'm going to go over at least a few of the races that are happening later on today because there are a lot. Specifically, Resident Tracker Danny 3883 is going to be taking on Uriel Man X7 at in about 5 minutes on Speed Gaming 2. And then I got to look at the schedule to figure out where everything else is happening.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on, but our hardworking tracker getting behind the controller for once, so that ought to be a fun match. Oh, that poor black mage is down to 1 health and not getting healed because you just throw life and a cure 4 out. So Gouda playing it a little risky. I like it. right, and we just have regular wolves on the vanilla agama tile, so nothing too exciting here.
All right, so we're going to go on ahead and call this carry battle, and then I'm going ahead and go over the schedule for the rest of the day, because we pretty much, like I said before, we pretty much have a race on the hour every hour today. We have a 4 o'clock, a 5 o'clock, a 6 or 6:30, a 7. Got a couple of 9s and a couple of 11s today. So really a lot of FFR happening. So if you enjoy Final Fantasy and you enjoyed the randomized version of Final Fantasy, well, you have all kinds of stuff to watch today here on either Speed Gaming family of networks, Randomania family of networks, or of course we have our first race on RPG Limit Break happening later today at 9 o'clock, which I'll go over after this carry battle. Guda is pulling up carry. We've got some fades coming out. We got fast coming out. Carry tickles our fighter for a little bit. 4 hits, 275. Fade coming out 204. And carry. Wow. That's rough. Rough for carry there.
Yeah, always feels good when you kind of put Volcano off a little bit. You come in with the nice strong levels and you just steamroll carry. Because I've been steamrolled by carry enough where getting some revenge is pretty nice.
Yeah, the problem with carry is since carry is the second fiend, you kind of have like this inkling to maybe disrespect her, and then she'll roll like 230%, and she'll just wreck your crew. She'll just like murder everybody in your party, and you're like, man, I should have maybe come in here with something better than a saber.
You're just gonna light axe and clinking away for 3 damage, and then she gets the back row for 400. It's like, I've made a mistake.
All right, let's take a look at this schedule, because like they've moved some stuff around, so I got to figure out what's happening here.
All right, we'll get our first look at Volcano as well. Excuse me, not Volcano, Waterfall.
Yes, exactly. So, like I said before, head over to Speed Gaming 2 in about 1 minute from now. Caleb and Lord Fizzlebeef are going to be calling the match between our resident tracker Danny 3883 versus Uriel Man X7. That's happening on Speed Gaming 2 at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Cinema Bee will be taking on Sealy Faye. That will not be restreamed, so you'll just have to follow either one of those two runners or pull up the multi-stream. At 6:30, Wilcleosis and Artea. What? Those guys are going to be calling a match between Brodster and ex-Russian Bishop. That's going to be happening on Randomania. I think that's Randomania Prime. And then you got to keep going. 7 o'clock on Speed Gaming 3. Cyclone and Caleb again are going to be calling Much Paranoia versus One Fine Day. Man, we got a lot going on here for sure.
Yeah, fully packed schedule, and Artea and Will, appointment television right there.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. So yeah, like I said, much Paranoia and One Fine Day over on Speed Gaming at 7 o'clock. Elastoid, he's back, taking on one of our newer racers, Life Reboot. That'll be happening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Savings Time at Speed Gaming 4 with Edge, my comms partner currently, and Darren Dry is calling the action. Over on the SACE, Speed Gaming 6 at 9 p.m., we've got the Real Super Pleb versus Groggy Dog, and like I said before, over on RPG Limit Break, you're going to have Salty Fry versus Shadow Walker, which is, that's pretty wild. That should be an amazing matchup. Old guard for sure. Couple of some of the best racers in the game, and I'm pretty excited to watch that one.
Yeah, so while we were going over the schedule, Gouda hitting the jackpot in Waterfall. We had Loose Crown, and we had the robot handing out the herb. So That pretty much ties up everything as far as exploration goes. Still no ribbon, but Guda's gonna grab this incentive item here, and then that's pretty much gonna do it, I think.
Yeah, so we got a couple of fetch questies that are going to happen from there. Durrun going to talk to the Titan. He does not have his ruby yet. He needs to buy that crystal and turn the crystal in to get the ruby, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that'll get things moving pretty quickly, but just gotta do a little fundraising first.
Yeah, I want to say it was buy the crystal, pick up the TNT from Matoya. The TNT turned into the adamant, and that turned into the ruby, if I want to remember this correctly. As Guda is going to see what the ladies have to offer. I'm pretty surprised. He's opened up a lot of boxes and has yet to find a ribbon.
Yeah, and I think with the you've got a white mage with all the curative power and some fades. That seems like a pretty good character to throw that ribbon on.
And there we go. Guda is in go mode. Go mode at the 54-minute mark exactly. Picks up his loot. At this point, do you follow the quest chains? Do you feel pretty good about what you have? Or do you at least try to get the tail and do promotion?
I think I would definitely at least go for the tail. Just the big difference between gear, it's huge on the armor side. Iron armor, there's a ribbon.
Yeah, and I was going to say the same thing. I mean, he already has those things. He has that, he's got that dragon armor, which is a huge upgrade to the iron armor or even the ice armor. Even that is worth it. And we saw those spells. I mean, you've got Life, you've got Fade, you've got Cure 4. I think it's important to try to hunt that tail down and get that promotion. And you're under the hour market go mode. I think he feels like he's probably ahead and has the time to do it.
Yeah, and also doing the promotion will save you time on picking up gear as well. You don't have to worry about grabbing opal or gold bracelets because you can just throw that black shirt on the black mage.
Yeah, and so, MG Weirdo pointing out the obvious there. Durrun barely making it out of that Pede fight. Pedes, it looked like they had frost and pretty much wrecked his party, but he was able to get into Crescent. He's going to talk to the old men and get his canoe, and then I'm interested to see what he's going to do from there.
Yeah, the crystal turn-in proving to be pivotal, so see how that shakes out.
Yeah, I mean, he needs the crystal in order to get the floater because it is ruby locked. He needs that ruby to get that floater, and as of right now, I guess he could do this floaterless, as long as he gets the canoe. I didn't see. No, what did the bottle lead to? Do you remember?
I forget. Let's check the old notes here.
Yeah, I may as well.
Yeah, it was the Opal Cheerio, and the slab turn-in isn't required either. So yeah, this is potential floaterless.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna call it now just because I'm pretty sure, because Durrun is relatively new. I'd be surprised if he knows that there's even docks below Anrak and Mirage, but we'll see how this plays. I'm still excited to watch how the rest of this works out for Durrun. I hope the best for him. And it looks like we have an Artea in chat asking about Cheerios, which, I mean, Cheerios are delicious. I'm not going to lie. And we got a Tyro on screen. What do you eat the steak?
I don't know. I don't think I'd eat a steak that's been submerged for hundreds of years.
Yeah, they brine that steak a little too hard for me. I think I would just leave it there. So Lobster's just being annoying, not only hitting hard, like 3 hits and 1,000,000 damage, but doing dazzle, which that's just obnoxious.
Yeah, and that's even through gold bracelets and the like, so there's a lot of damage that they're capable of.
Yeah, Lobsters, I don't know what it is. They must be on the crest of something where, like, if they just roll just a tiny bit high, they get like that 3rd and 4th hit. But man, they always just mess things up. And Guda's going to go on ahead and give us our first look at Kraken here in probably about, I don't know, 20 seconds or so. And then we'll go on ahead and call that match and see what's happening. And over on Durrun's side, these Cobras and Scorpions are giving him the business. He's got a couple of Sleeping Light Warriors. He got Quad X's coming out, and he's going to go on ahead and take a wipe on that, which is, gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah, just it's a nasty pack. I think Durrun just wants to get some experience in the Crescent Lake area. Guda reset out of those guys earlier, and I was thinking, maybe I'd want to see what this pack has. No, I don't want anything to do with these guys.
Yeah, and so Guda going on ahead, he's going to make up, fix up his inventory. Got some fades coming out and Viz 2s. He's going to do some buffs, a little Brack action. I don't blame any of these plays. Brack coming out, completely ineffective, but the Invis 2 is going to come out beforehand. Fire 2 happening, doing minimal damage to his party. Defense, and then a second Brack, completely ineffective as well. What is the most Bracks you've thrown at Kraken that didn't land?
Let's see. I know I threw 7 earlier. And
died. Yeah. It always happens then. When you know you're going to take a wipe, then Bracks don't land. But on the, what was that, the 4th or the 5th Brack, it looks like we've got a broken into pieces. And Guda lighting up his second orb, his water orb at the hour mark. And he's going to go on ahead, probably hit up Sky since he's in the northern continent.
Yeah, I think 12 is about the highest I had for Brack. I know I had a chain of like 28 for Bane against Tiamat one seed. That one felt real bad.
Yeah, that's rough. And Bane is another one of those spells. I mean, Tiamat is weak, does not resist poison. And he finds the tail on the first one. He didn't even have to do the herb turn-in to get the Thor's hammer. He's just right there. Boom, done. Man, this is working out really well for Guda.
Yeah, that's everything that you want. So go cash that in. Get geared up.
I was going to say, as of right now, I'm assuming the herb would lead to the slab, which would lead to the Thor's hammer, because that's the only other quest fetch quest items we haven't seen.
Yeah, and it looks like Guda's going to knock out Earth while he's in the area. I kind of get the wisdom behind this, but at the same time, I like doing the promotion first so that you can get extra levels on the way through, especially if there's a bunch of unrunnables in Earth. You're going to have all that extra experience that just doesn't go towards spell charges. And Cure 4 on a Knight is huge.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing. While I like the routing decision of coming here because you're in the area, I think promotion you should definitely do first, just so you can get those extra levels on that night so that they can get more charges of those 1 through 3 spells. And we got these images. We know they have thunder. So let's see what happens as he gets away. We've only found the 1 ribbon, correct?
Yep, only 1.
We have wall, though, so I think we're pretty good. He's going to do some greed checks. He's probably hoping for a second ribbon, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and there's plenty available on the table. He can, especially with that run at the front, he could check bottom of Mirage if he feels so inclined.
Yeah, I mean, there's 6 or 7 chests down there. He should be fine if he really wants to try to get that second ribbon on his party. But I mean, throw a ribbon on his white mage, get through the first couple of battles, then put it on his knight to get through the last few battles, and think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine with the wall. And did you see what happened on Guda's screen? I just happened to notice there was like an encounter, and then and then it was over.
Yeah, there was just like a bright flash of light, and then moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming Guda didn't necessarily engage the vampire, as he just went on ahead and opened the shades and then just moved on.
It's so dark in here. Get some light. Oh, I'm sorry.
Whoops, man. I didn't realize that was going to happen to you. So, my bad. As he keeps moving, and ooze have poison damage. That's good thing oozes are only down here, but still, that. Ooh. And he's getting bad turn order on top of it.
Yeah, down goes two characters. So, I mean, that's kind of an uncomfortable position to be in, but you certainly can finish this out with 2 characters.
Yeah, and he has life on tire, so he should be fine. Just get that life out there. Bring your peeps back to life. You're good to go. He's gonna go on ahead and try to use the house first. VT Arxelis really enjoying my commentary about the vampire there. As Durrun, he's got his canoe. He's going to go on ahead and head up Volcano. And we didn't really see much in Volcano except for what was in the armory, which was a lot of good night gear, but not so much that, progression items.
Yeah, not too critical, so... The defense sword, dragon. The defense sword is going to help out a lot. Dragon armor can't really be used right away. So a lot of nice to haves in Volcano, but nothing that immediately helps.
I have to assume, and I was watching Guda's screen. I have to assume that when he was in Marsh Cave, he was able to pick up that massa, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so he's going to go on ahead and check the armory. He's going to go that's rough right there. And Trant's coming out. But let's go on ahead and check out this Lich battle here. It may go just as fast as I tell you to check it out, as Harm Force coming out, doing about as low damage as you can imagine, but the Massive Swing murders Lich. Just
no evasion on that guy. 8 hits, 600 damage.
Yeah, and Durrun getting the, what's it called? The beginner's trap there, going in the door, and there's just nothing in that room.
Always feels bad at RPGs. Like, oh, what's at the end of this long hallway? It's a heal potion. All right, cool.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about just what feels bad. How about all those stupid empty rooms in Final Fantasy II? And I'm not talking about Final Fantasy II in America. I'm talking about the original Japanese Final Fantasy II, where you walk into a room, you get an encounter, and then it's just, okay. And then you do that a million times throughout the game.
Yeah, well, what's in here? Oh, it's nothing. All right.
And you get the encounter. Like, you don't even get to check the room and find nothing. They just make you have an encounter, and you're like, well, son of a monkey. And Pete's rolling the ugly. They have not only Frost, but I think they have Blizzard on the first half of it. And Durrun just having some issues in this Volcano.
Yeah, Chili Pete's giving him the business. Like, can't even get the good turn order. And Guda is still digging for extra equipment. Probably wants another ribbon.
Yeah, I'm assuming so as well. I mean, you're in the area, and again, they are kind of those free checks. So just go on ahead, hit them up. Worst case scenario, you don't find the ribbon that you're looking for. You reset out and you move on.
There's a Zeus gauntlet.
Yeah, you get the, it's not so much the Jacob or Bat as the, I don't know, we'll call it the dang dragon. Just standing in the way. Hey, you want to check this chest? I'm going to be right here.
Just standing in front of you, munching on a candy bar. Like, can I help you?
Oh, there we go. We got second ribbon right there. I cannot imagine he's checking any more chests after this.
Yeah, there you go. go. The knight is safe. The white mage is safe. Let's go.
Now, one thing I will say is I'm really excited about his time. I'm not so excited about his levels right now. He's not in the 20s yet, and I mean he could be fine if everything rolls low, but if he gets like one fiend that decides to like be all max of 8 or whatever, it could get kind of crazy in Topher if he doesn't gain at least like a few more levels.
Yeah, he needs to take a lot of fights going up Sky, and it's a good place to get levels. Just gotta get it done. There was not a lot of fights in C to take that were pretty efficient.
Yeah, and MG Weirdo saying he's got Sky though. He, as long as like you said, he's got the harm 4s. If he gets some vampires up here, if he gets some whiz vamps later, he can take down a couple of eyes and some manacores. Not unrunnable catmen because they suck.
It's still not bad if you get the jump on them, and Ice 3 works pretty okay against them. Looks like they rolled real low too.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I mean, I've never had that much of an easy time with Catman, and then of course he gets ambushed by vampires.
Oh, one health hanging on.
Oh my gosh, Dark, stay alive, please.
But yeah, Guda has plenty of charges to just murder all the groups that you would run into here.
Yeah, and he's already up to level 20, so all of my like worries are pretty much gone away. I think he'll be fine, especially if he runs into Warmech and Warmech isn't like horrible, then he should be okay.
Yeah, I think he's gonna need to take a couple encounters on the Earth floor on the way through. Maybe some mud ghouls or a pack of Gurmaduses.
Yeah, I definitely say Gurmaduses for sure. I mean, they usually go down pretty easily to like a Fire 3 or a Fade or something like that. But then, of course, they could totally ambush you and have Death Touch and Blaze, and you know, that's a thing. And that is no reference to anything I've heard of. As Will Cleosis says, hey, what's going on, Will? I was not talking about you. What brings you in here?
Oh, interesting. Guda deciding to leave the Black Mage down, so this is going to help a lot in the experience department.
Yeah, this is the one time I don't blame that call, because I don't think his Black Mage really needs any more levels where Fast is located and Temper. He really needs to get those levels on Xeno. If he can get Xeno up to 24 and get that 5th hit, like you said, then he should be pretty good. And yeah, I mean, chat pointing out the obvious here. Durrun is he is struggling through this volcano. I mean, Volcano is being very, very rude to him right now with just everything having everything.
Oh, did we find Stone Touch too?
Now that looked like Glance actually, but yeah, may as well be with the levels he currently has.
Yeah, so there's a lot of rude stuff in here for sure, and yeah, I don't know if Durrun's been successful in getting anything gear-wise out.
Yeah, I noticed he's basically been checking these chests over and over again for the last few minutes now, and I'm like you. I don't think he's been able to make heads or tails of these chests and getting them out of here. And we got Manacores. Manacores are always fun to take down. They give pretty decent experience and usually roll pretty low.
Yeah, they get multiple hits, but you get a gold bracelet on somebody, and that's usually enough to negate the damage. They're only really troublesome if something lands on them.
I was just going to say, here's my question to you. I noticed he checked left side of Spider Room. Do you think he's doing that just because he's like, actually wants something, or do you think he's just trying to get extra encounters? Because right now he's heading over to right side of Sky 3. I don't think he really needs anything, do you?
Well, I think this may just be greed, or he thinks, I don't want to wipe in Temple of Fiends, so I'm going to keep digging for more equipment. Really, the only thing you can find at this point is maybe the X-Cal, so you can split up Mazmune and X-Cal, or or even the last ribbon.
That's what I'm thinking too, or maybe Aegis Shield he wants, because I don't know. Looking at his stuff, his levels are starting to get up there. I just can't think of anything he really needs in here.
Yeah, and then keep running away from that Man-Cat pack too. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, he's got fade charges. He could have probably taken him down. And trust me, I hate Man-Cats like the next person. But as long as you have something that isn't like Nuke or Fade that you can just kind of mow him down pretty quickly, I can't imagine not taking it. And he found a Pro Cape, so that's at least something.
Hey, Sentries have glance too.
That's very nice of him.
Yeah, and I think the Red Mage is still swinging a Coral Sword, so maybe even a Sun Sword would be useful at this point.
I don't know. We'll definitely have to remind ourselves to ask him why he cleared Sky 3 when he had 2 ribbons and all this pretty decent gear for his party. And Durrun, he's running this party. He's just got a fighter and a white mage alive. He still has life charges on his white mage. I'm assuming he just wants to kind of hold on to him in case he needs to exit out of here.
Oh, there's level 23, so.
And Guda he doesn't know how the Sky Maze works. Okay, first off, everybody knows you go right 2 times, up 2 times. I don't know what he's doing. If you do anything else, I'm assuming you're a monster. What do you do?
I zigzag.
Oh
one
my
up, one right, one up, one right,
right.
one up.
I gotta go. I can't even right now.
All right, see you later.
Wait, I got more stuff to talk about. And we are on the Bridge of Destiny, people, so we need some plush RNGs out here. Are we going to see a War Mech? Are we going to see some Nachos? Are we going to see a bunch of Red Hydras? We don't know, but we would definitely want to see a War Mech, so go on ahead and throw your Bless RNGs out there. Hopefully, if he sees War Mech, it's not going to murder him straight up, and he can gain, that last level before he heads into Topher.
Yeah, it looks like he's even taking some War Mech insurance out and picking up the Black Mage.
Yeah, it's actually a really good call. You don't want to run into War Mech and take a wipe after doing all of what he's done. But he does not see much of anything on the Bridge of Destiny, and here comes Tiamat. He's going to go on ahead and do some Brack strats. He's going to think about what he wants to do. Does he want to do Harm 4 or Fade? He does Fade. And then he does Brack. So we got Brack and Fade. Brack, Fade, and Attack. And we got a first round Brack broken into pieces. Guda lights up his 4th orb at the 1 hour 15 minute mark, which that's a pretty good time on these flags. What are you thinking?
I'm just mad about that first turn Brack. I'm so jealous right now.
I was thinking the same thing. I can't even remember the last time I got a first turn Brack or Bane on Tiamat or Kraken.
So that round that I died after hitting 7, or missing 7, it hit on the first try. And I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. Just rubbing salt in the wound there. But yeah, time to stock up for heals and head into the Temple of Fiends. And Guda's pretty well prepared for this, so let's see how this shakes out.
This race should be over here pretty soon. Yeah, and Guda's going to go on ahead and finally pick up those charges on his Knight, which makes sense because I think Life was level 2, if I remember correctly. Life and Wall. No need to pick up Exit at this point. But he's going to... I thought he was going to pick up Aether, which, sometimes you need resistance to fire.
Hey, according to the strategy guide, it works against nuclear.
What? Is that for real?
Yeah, I told you to cast Aether when fighting a Warmech.
Oh, man, even the guys that wrote the strategy guide didn't know what was going on in the game. So I like to talk about this for a second. So the randomizer for this actually fixes a lot of the bugs, like Temper actually works. A few of the other spells, Saber, just all the spells that are kind of bugged in the game like your agility. Like thieves actually run away as opposed to just like, hey, who's in slot number 2? So I really feel like the randomizer, even if you want to play the original version of the game, is the definitive way to play the game. As MG Weirdo helping me out, letting me know that Lock and Lock 2 also work. And yeah, like I said, improved vanilla. If you want to look at the 8-bit experience of the game, but the game actually worked the way it's supposed to, I highly recommend just loading a ROM into FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, hit improved vanilla, and yeah, you can play the game just like you remember playing it in 1990, but the way it was actually supposed to work. As Guda, he is in Topher about 30 seconds ago. I was too busy talking over that. And we got an ugly pack right here on the Phantom tile.
All right, so things are going pretty smooth. Guda's still at level 23, so see what fights he decides to take on the way down.
Yeah, I see Durrun has abandoned the volcano fight, and he's heading back into the inner sea on his boat. Did he make it down through anything at all, or?
It's possible that Durrun has crystal money now, so that would certainly be helpful.
Yeah, I think that's what he's remembering. Hopefully, that was quite a while ago that the crystal was found in the vendor item. So hopefully he can just head in there. As these Gurmaduses, they are ambushing. What's happening? They're just attacking. I don't see any death touch. Oh my god! All right, I think he's good. Will almost had a mini heart attack in chat there. Blackshirt doing about as little damage as you can possibly do because they are resistant to ice too, or just ice in general. But he's just getting bad turn order here. And it looks like they rolled kind of high. It's very rare to see Gurmadusas roll over 250 or 150.
Yeah, next mage staff ought to do it though.
Yeah, I'm thinking so as well. As Durrun does pick up his crystal. So he did get his money. He's going to get his ruby. And we already know that since he has the canoe, that the ruby will lead to the floater, and he will be airborne here pretty soon.
Yeah, we have the level 24 knight, so one pack of Gurmaduses, and that'll do it. Time to run away from everything else.
Yeah, so the thing that we were referencing earlier, which I think a lot of people probably remember from last year, is that there was a match between Wilkliosis and Tristal. And on this floor, the Gurmadusas were pretty prevalent. Not only did they have a high ambush rate, they also had death touch, and they had blaze. So it was pretty ugly, but man, these blood golems with stone poison, that's no bueno. We've got quite a few more people out here in chat. One fine day joining us. Shift 4, one of our newer members, hopping in on comms last night with Hypes Nova. It's always good to have newer players out here trying to call the game for us, because let's put it this way. It's spring tournament. We have 37 matches each week for the next 6 weeks. We need all the help we can get. So if you like what you're seeing, you like the action, go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. Click on the link that takes you to the Discord. Tell us you want to do some stuff, and then boom, you can do some stuff for us. We're going to have, on average, at least 5 to 6 matches a week, or not a week, a day per week. So we need all the help we can get. So hang out with us, as Guda made short work of Lich 2, and he is making it through Carrie's floor.
Yeah, Guda throwing out those harm fours, because you'll never use them again. So cash them in now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the last big boss that you can actually use harm 4 against. So you may as well just throw them out there. And he's going to go on ahead and heal up before he heads into this carry battle. He keeps his knight in the front row, as well as his black mage in the second row. Durrun getting his ruby. He's turning his adamant in, or I'm sorry, his TNT in, which we know the adamant eventually turns into the ruby. So he's going to finally be able to do that part of the fetch quest. Fade's coming out doing fade damage at about 80. You hate to see that, but that's typical Fade.
Yeah, that's low roll territory there. And
yeah. But he makes pretty short work of Carry. Carry couldn't have been much higher than vanilla, if not vanilla. And I want to go on ahead and echo what Will Cleosa says. I just go, Durrun. You can do this. Just make it over there. Hopefully, head over to the Titan's Trove, get that ruby turn in, find that floater, get that power bonk, and go on ahead and get yourself out into the sky. As Guda getting the business from this water pack, his black mage is down.
And interesting move there. I like it. Throw the Cure 4 on the knight, because if that guy dies, chances are the rest of the party's going to go too.
We got a Kraken battle happening. We got some fast coming out. He's going to put his black mage in the front row. So he's just hoping a fast comes out and then he can just move on as he throws out fades. And Fade doing, of course, fade damage at 82 and 92 respectively. 10 hits, 328. 7 hits, 704 from... That is no good. You hate to see your white mage go down. Hopefully his red mage and his knight can stay up so he can bring all his people back to life. Fade coming out again, actually doing some real damage at 256. Another Fade coming out. His knight is down. This is no good. Fade coming out. 132. Oh my gosh, he made it through. He should be able to bring his people back to life. Wow. I'm sure his chair is feeling it.
Yeah, 3 life casters, and you needed every single one of them. That was some ugly turn order too. But yeah, I was wondering if we were gonna have to see the Miracle Quad X come out, but that Fade did the job.
Yeah, I mean, luckily that Fade came out. And yeah, like you said, he would have had to have thrown a Quad X out at that point and hopefully get turn order in order to kill Kraken. Luckily, Kraken again kind of rolled around that vanilla. I mean, if Kraken had rolled high, like around $2,000, that would have been ugly for sure. As we get a Tier 2 battle, we got defense coming out. He rearranges his party. Keeps his mages kind of safe as fast comes out. Temper, Invis 2, and of course Defense Sword. So he's going to make sure he gets plenty of evade stacks on that top knight there. We got another defense. We got Fade coming out this time. Temper, and I'm assuming Temper. So not only does he double his hit percentage, but he's going to go on ahead and get 14 per temper charge of attack power. And so hopefully once he gets the swing out here, he should be able to do some serious damage. Nuclear coming out pretty hard there. 4 hits, 231. Wow, this Tia has really eaten her Wheaties. Swirl coming out, doing some serious damage. Xeno still up, 5 hits, 538. We've got a dead Tiamat. Man, that's the second bit of clinching happening right there.
Yeah, that was a lot of absorb on the side of Tia, but not a lot in the HP department to back it up, and Guda gets through it all right. But we've seen one nuclear and 1 swirl out of the pool. I don't think we've seen any of the nukes. So
yeah, we haven't seen those scary spells like the slow 2, the nukes, and there's like 2 nukes in the pool. So I don't know, but we never saw Warmech either. Warmech could have just hoarded all that stuff to himself.
Yeah, Durrun meanwhile turning in the ruby, so that's power gauntlet, and then moving along pretty well, making steady progress.
Yeah, and Chaos opening up pretty hard on that black mage. I'm not sure if Fast even came out, and but he was the sacrificial lamb, so we'll see what happens. What Guda decides to do from henceforth. He is going to throw Fast out, so the black mage did not get Fast out. And Chaos seems to be attack happy, but luckily he went after that knight who had those defense charges up and completely whiffed that attack. Wall coming out, keeping his white mage alive. We got a power bonk, and he's trying to think about what he wants to do. I guess he's just going to go 3 and 256 strats as Brack completely misses. Lit 2 doing no damage.
Yeah, no decent weapon on the red mage either. So throwing a bunch
Oh
of
my
saber-
gosh! Exfer landed though. Exfer has landed. He is defenseless. Brack coming out. It is ineffective. That's fine. I mean, we can still do it. We can still do it. We can see a Brack happening. I think that Massa did some pretty decent damage.
There's a zap in kind, but yeah, the percentages for Brack don't get any higher than this.
Yeah, Brack coming out completely ineffective again. Iron Hammer doing 21 damage. He's trying to think about what he wants to do. What is he going to do? He has no more Brack charges. Lit 2 comes out. Chaos doing a whole lot of nothing. As 5 hits, 398. Chaos is down with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 56 seconds. Guda has come in first place, and he has moved on to 1-0.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get Guda in here, but yeah, get your GGs out. Pretty clean race altogether for Guda. Not a lot of bumps in the road, and went pretty smooth. Yeah, we're joined by Guda right now. GG.
Thanks, Edge. How's it going?
It's going all right. How did you feel about that one?
Some of the stuff in that race was really, really awful. Like the stone poison mud golems, and somebody had thunder, which they spammed, which was awful. Oh, the images, or the eye mages.
Yeah.
I wiped a couple really weird places that I'm like, okay, this is not normal. I guess I'll just start this over. But overall, I thought that it was pretty good, and it was weird because this is the first time that I've had to like legitimately Dan my only black mage because the magic was just so awful.
Yeah, it looked like for buffs it was okay, but not much after that. Meanwhile, the decision to bring a white mage definitely looks like it paid off.
Yeah, and I've been with these seeds. I've been doing red, black, black, and it has done nothing but just bite me in the rear end like my last 3 runs. So I'm like, you know what? Today I am going to bring a white mage. And I know Durrun is basically like brand new, and like I've had such really nasty Tophers lately that I'm just like, no, I can't even take the chance. He's new, but some of these new guys, they can really, really surprise you.
Yeah, so speaking of nasty Tophers, we noticed that you were digging out a lot more chests even after you were in go mode. Looked like you were looking for either the second ribbon or the defense.
Yeah, I was looking for the second ribbon, and I walked into Mirage at level 19. So like Sky 2, Sky 3 are really good places that have a lot of chests, and like Sky 2 is about the safest place that you can grind, to be honest.
Yeah, we were actually going to ask you about that, and I'm glad that you clarified. I kind of had to assume you didn't really need anything from the chest. You just were like, I'm pretty kind of low level. I want to get up to 24 on my knight.
Yeah, like 22 was the goal, and that's what I ended up getting on the bridge, or right before the bridge. And I'm like, because yeah, I was 19, and I'm like, you know what? If I get a third ribbon, that'd be fantastic. If I can find Excal, so I can put Excal on my knight, and then Masa on my Red Wizard, at least for like the first few levels of Topher, that gives me 2 swingers instead of 1 because he was still rocking Coral at the end. Like something like that, like even something little, they would have been nice. But I mean, it's more, I found some eyes, I found some manticores, I found things that I could grind on to get levels while still digging chests. And I never found a good grind tile.
I don't mean to cut you off here, but I want to go on ahead and talk about that. Durrun has got his floater. He's up in his airship. He is in the sky. He's trying to figure out what he wants to do. I'm assuming he's got a lot on his plate to think about what he can hit up, maybe like ordeals or waterfall or maybe ice or something like that. So we'll see what he decides to do as we finish interviewing Guda up here.
Yeah, other than a couple of little hiccups, I thought that the run went pretty well. I probably could have shaved 3-4 minutes off, so that would be that'd be nice for next round when I end up against some of these fantastic runners.
Durrun's gonna pick up the second ribbon in the Dragon Horse. So yeah, you cut it a little close on that Kraken fight there.
Oh man, that Kraken. So earlier today, I did a seed that Kraken had, what was it? First turn Bane followed by Nuke. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna go all out offense, and that's the best way to get rid of Kraken and hope that she doesn't roll way up on hit points. And of course, she rolls way up on hit points because why wouldn't she? And because I'm like, all right, I'm at about 1200 HP. She should be gone. And then she smacks my knight, and I'm like, oh, come on, really? And I was down to, I think, my last fade, and I'm like, come on. If you smack my red mage, he's dead. This is awful. So, yeah, as long as you got enough life casters, and that's really the name of the game with 230% is making sure that you're not life locked. So, I mean, you can chance it with the red mage, and you can chance it with the knight, but at the end of the day, like, at least what I've noticed from watching other people run, like, the white mage has been the savior in these flags because you're guaranteed life.
It seems like the white mage has gained a lot of popularity as kind of a way to mitigate getting real bad magic.
Yeah, and luckily we had Fade at level 3, and I have no idea where Nuke was.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was at the 7 or 8 shops, and you just blazed right past those.
Yeah, low 20s, you're not going to get enough charges for it to even matter. And the only time that I ever really check there is if Fast doesn't land in one of the first 6 shops. Because then I'm like, you know what, I kind of need Fast on Topher unless I want to really up my levels to, 28, 29, which I don't want to do on these flags because the best runners are going to be going into Topher at 22. That's just what's going to happen. And I got to watch the Thunder and Specty match the other night where it was just the roughest Topher ever. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get stuck in something like that. Because I've had a couple of 40-minute Tophers lately that have just really, really made it so it's been rough on me.
How'd it feel getting the floater that early?
That was completely unexpected. With these flags, I tend to know that I'm going to be on the sea for a long time, and then I found Sahags with Glance?
Yeah.
Glare? Something that was insta-death, and I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So that was fun. And I'm like, I hope I don't have to land on the sea for very long, because this is going to be awful. But yeah, these flags are kind of reminiscent of last year, which is a lot of fun. Like I liked last year's with the 2 loose, and the only difference is you don't get free canal, but you get a free ship. So I mean, you're going to be sailing the seas, and that's what's awesome about these flags is you get to remember how to boat.
Yeah.
I talked to Durrun before this race, and he sounded like he was pretty new. And watching him on stream, I'm planning on hopefully chatting with him a little bit afterwards and seeing how he feels, and hopefully he sticks with this. I kind of want to do a teaching stream to go over a few of the finer points of the game.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I hope it goes through.
Yeah, this is a fantastically fun game, and but the knowledge you have to have for it is insane, especially if you don't have a whole lot of knowledge of vanilla.
So yeah, moving on to 1-0. Who do you want to see next round?
Who do I want to see next round? Well, crab cakes. Get that out of the way right away. Spell zap. It'd be really good to get those one of those 2 out of the way really, really early because those are probably the top two in my book for winning this tournament. And if I can get those out of the way right away, that'll put me down in the 1-1 bracket. or
exactly how I kind of feel.
Or I could somehow pull a game from him, which would be fantastic as well. So I mean, I'd like to get some of the better runners out of the way right away. Kind of test where I am with these flags, and otherwise, anybody. I'll race anybody anytime. That's kind of what I've been doing, and that's the best way to learn, in my opinion, is to race anybody, anytime, anywhere, any flags.
So, Guda, I'd like to ask you a couple questions. Greatly Puff here.
Oh, Mr. Greg, yes, go ahead.
I know, I'm right here, man. First off, that was a really impressive run. I think Edge and I were talking about, it felt like you did all the right plays going through that place. I mean, 128, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good time on these particular flags. Yeah, so what do you do from here? I mean, how did you do last spring tournament?
Last spring tournament, I was 2-3. I ended up in the last chance qualifier, which was by far the most fun I've had. Also, it was the most nerve-wracking race that I've ever been in. But I ended up, I think, 4th in that because I reset out of a ribbon with Matoya and then didn't have a ribbon on my black belt, and he got smacked around by Chaos. Otherwise, I would have been either I would have beat SVJ or would have been within a minute of him, and that. Like I've had a lot of personal resentment going since that race with spring tournament, so I wanted to come back this year with a vengeance. The goal is I want to avoid the last chance qualifier at all costs if I can, so that means 4 wins is the goal. But we'll see.
You gotta go 4-2.
But we'll see. This is the biggest field we've ever had. We got 74 competitors, and we've got 74 people who are chomping at the bit to get this done and go 6-0, 5-1, 4-2. So I'm not going to sleep on anybody. Like all these, even the new people, like if they've been doing offline practice, fantastic for them. I've been trying to scout some of these people and I can't find VODs and it's annoying. But I mean, we've got a lot of people who are really good. We've got some old guard who have come back. I mean, Maya last night pulling out the 113 or something absolutely insane. He raced out of his mind.
Yeah, he basically nuked his way through that seed, if I heard correctly.
Yeah, he re-rolled for 4 red mages and then got 4 nuke casters and just blasted everything, which, that's pretty awesome. Like, that's not something... I'm glad I got a chance to watch that, because that's not something I would ever do normally.
Yeah, with this particular scaling, I mean... Yeah, I wouldn't think to do that either, but it ended up working out for Miami. He put up an awesome time. 114. Yeah,
and beat
pretty incredible.
And beat our first ever Iron Gold heavyweight champ in Ailmarkin. So I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about a couple of things real quick while Durrun decides what he wants to do now. He's hanging out in Canary. He just got out of the inn. So we have the Iron Golem Championship, heavyweight champion or heavy metal championship. I'm sorry, which is if you go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. and you click on the Discord link and you join us on Discord. You don't have to be part of spring tournament or anything. This is just kind of ongoing thing. Imagine like wrestling, right? You just go up the ranks and then you challenge whoever the champions happens to be. And you can pick whatever flags you want to pick, and it's pretty awesome. It just means you don't get burned out on kind of the same flag styles. You can do all kinds of different stuff. Anti-double bingo, counter co-op, everything's loose. There's no loose at all. High XP scaling, low XP scaling, whatever you want to do, it's totally fine. It's just kind of
solo black belt challenge.
Yep, exactly. just some different stuff that we try to do. We're also uploading all of our videos, everything that you see here. If you missed this race or if you missed any other race and you want to see a couple of competitors do their thing and it happens to not get saved onto the Speed Gaming or Randomania site, you can always go to our YouTube page. Just going ahead and go to YouTube and search Final Fantasy Randomizer, and you should be able to find our YouTube page that way. And check out all of our previous matches.
And make sure you subscribe to that, because over the next I don't know, 12 weeks. That's about 14 weeks, something like that, for spring tournament. We're going to be uploading videos at a rapid pace. And if you miss anything on Twitch, you can always go to that YouTube page and catch up on all the spring tournament action. And there are those images with Thunder that really was not fun.
Yeah, poor Durrun just getting the business from those images. And yeah, I mean, Thunder was prevalent in the seed. That was something that Edge and I noticed. There was at least 4 enemies I saw with Thunder. Ogres, images. There was one other enemy I can't remember off the top of my head, but I mean, it was just Thunder happy for sure.
Yeah, but the biggest downfall with what I ran, which was Fighter Rainbow, is the inability to run, which is super annoying for me because I love my Thief, especially since Thief fixes are on. And I'm not used to having to try and run from things 3-4 times. And it's always a feels bad moment, especially when they're punching for 80 at a crack.
Yeah, I really hate that too. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. If I can't run away on the first turn, then I'm like immediately irritated.
Yeah.
But yeah, Durrun's just trying to make his way through ice. Once he gets down here and he gets to that incentive location, he will get his Oxia, which will open up Sea Shrine for him. But yeah, so we've got the YouTube out of the way. We talked about the Iron Golem Championship. Join the Discord. Somebody will go on ahead and post it here in chat in a little bit. And then, of course, let's talk about all the races we have right now. I mean, Danny 3883 is taking on Euroman X7 over on Speed Gaming 2. Sealyfay and Cinema B are doing their own multi-stream. They are not being restreamed, and that should be happening here in a few minutes. And then we've just got like a ton more races. I'm going ahead and pull up the schedule here so that I know what's going on. So yeah, Russian Bishop and Bratster are going to be battling it out on Randomania. With Artea and Wilkliosis doing comms at 6:30 Eastern Daylight Savings Time. We've got Much Paranoia taking on One Fine Day at 7 o'clock on Speed Gaming 3. At 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Savings Time on Speed Gaming 4, we have Elastoid taking on Life Reboot. Speed Gaming 6, we have The Real Super Pleb taking on Groggy Dog, a couple of newer players doing their thing at 9 o'clock, as well as another 9 o'clock battle over on RPG Limit Break. We've got Shadow Walker 227 taking on Salty Fry, a couple of Old Guard doing their thing over on RPG Limit Break, and Captain Nerd 2 taking on Ganon's Gone Wild on our sister network Randomania. All that happening at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Lastly, 2 more races happening tonight, as if there weren't enough races. At 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time on Speed Gaming 3, you have Hypes Nova 1 taking on Ali Song. And then you have one of our admins, Silverfire, taking on Zyrak over on Randomania with Guda. You're going to be doing the restream on that, aren't you?
I am, good sir. I'm going to be doing the restream, and if anybody's out there and wants to stay up late and hang out with me, we need a couple of commentators for that and a tracker, so come on over, have fun. We get to watch FFR literally all day. I'm so glad that myself and Durrun got to kick this off for the day. I mean, we've got basically 10, 11 hours straight of FFR today between Speed Gaming and Randomania. This is Final Fantasy Randomizer at its best. Best time to be an FFR player for sure.
And that's just today. I think we have just as many races tomorrow. Like I said, we're trying to book 37 matches this week. So most of the week matches end up happening over the weekend. So if you're like any of us and you're just kind of hanging out at home because you have nowhere else to really go because of the current state of things, come on over to Twitch. Watch us do our thing. It's a lot of fun. I think Final Fantasy Randomizer, like I said earlier, is the definitive way to play Final Fantasy. I don't care what they say about the PSP version or the Game Boy Advance version. it's really the game. It's really the way to play the game, in my opinion.
I couldn't agree more, Greg. I mean, this game, I played it on Nintendo as a kid, played it as an adult on Nintendo, and then found the randomizer through YouTube. And oh man, I haven't looked back. I tried playing vanilla a couple months ago, and it is so slow. And we have vanilla for the randomizer. If you want to play vanilla, come play improved vanilla, and you can do basically the same thing. And while we're looking at the schedule, we have to point out one of the possibly best matches of all spring tournament happening tomorrow morning on Speed Gaming at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time between Zenobian and Wab 1024. So tomorrow is another full day jam pack of FFR.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to keep talking about Swiss for a second, I mean, we may as well, as Durrun runs into those awful Glance Hags. Luckily, he didn't get ambushed by them like you did earlier. So, but no, not Glance. I'm sorry, Glare, and he gets bad turn order and loses 2 of his light warriors. Heel is still awake, so hopefully she can bring everybody back to life as he finishes clearing out Ice Cave.
Yeah, just right down the line like dominoes.
Yeah, and I have to say, like Wilkliosis and like Guda says, I mean, Xeno versus Wab, that should be an awesome match. I mean, I'll be honest with you, there have been several matches I was very hyped for. I mean, the Ale Ikban Maya match I was super hyped for. Later on tonight, the Salty Fry and Shadow Walker match should be entertaining. I mean, I think all the matches are going to be entertaining. But those are ones that definitely piqued my interest.
Yeah, for sure. And can't forget about CC, Crab Cakes, and Demon Frog. That is also going to be a spicy, spicy matchup.
Yeah, so while we're here and we're going to talk about it, I mean, let's go on ahead and do it because we have time. Durrun's still just trying to get his way through Ice Cave. Is there any favorites that you have, Guda, coming out of? I mean, I know you're part of this. I'm part of this.
I mean, obviously, one of the favorites is Crab Cakes. Another one is Spell Zap. I mean, they are the top 2 in SRL ranking, and they've both been playing outside of their mind in this game for the last few months. And CC is the reigning champ, so I mean, everybody's going to be gunning for her. Other than that, I know Caleb. Rafe Hates Caleb has been coming on insanely strong. He had a 4-match winning streak recently in the Iron Goal, and he's been playing these seeds really, really well. I think he's been averaging about an hour and a half, hour and 35 minutes on almost every single seed that he's played lately. Cheeseinator has been playing these seeds like a madman. Like every chance that I get, every chance I look in the race organization, Cheese is pinging people to race. Like this is what he wants to do. So, I mean, Cheeseinator's up there. Other than that, we got Shadow Walker, last year's runner-up. Salty Fry came back and started winning. As MG Weirdo points out, Thunderclawed, Zenobian. We had a Platypus invite a few months ago, and there's, I want to say, 5 people in that are all part of the favorites to either make brackets or win it for spring tournament. So, I mean, there's a lot of really good runners.
It just kind of really depends on how Swiss rolls out and who gets who. These first couple rounds of Swiss, you got some 1-1s, you got some, 1-0s, and then you get like to the 2-0s. But once you get to the 3 wins, like 3 wins and no losses, that's when you really start separating the pack, I think. And I'm kind of on board with you. I mean, Spellzap has defended his Iron Gall Heavy Metal Championship 4 times now? Like,
yeah, he every week since he stole it from Ale.
Yeah, and Durrun finally gets his Oxio. He's going to stay there for a second. Hopefully he remembers he has exit on heel. He does, and he's going to exit out, use his airship, and he's going to get out of there. So at least he has another go mode item. He's still missing the loot. He's still missing the key. But we know already that the key was down in Sea Shrine?
Loot was in Sea Shrine.
Sorry, loot was in Sea Shrine. Key was in...
Key was in Waterfall. Or was it in Ordeals? Ordeals. Because I did that first.
Unfortunately, Artea, you cannot just waltz in and challenge him and take it. You have to actually become the number one contender by waltzing in and taking on, well, the number one contender. And if they decide they want to actually accept your challenge, me personally, if I was the number one contender, is how I feel about that. But
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see Artea here in chat. I mean, he's the master of the two-man strats, and I have a feeling that if Artea came in and started racing people, that's what he would say. He would go, fighter, none, black mage, let's go, race it up.
Yeah, but seriously, I mean, it's just something different. Like the Iron Gall Championship has really been something that's rejuvenated the Discord. It's gotten people to really play some interesting seeds. I've seen crazy flag sets. I've seen, like I said, the double anti-bingos. I raced somebody like completely just everything was loose.
I love those flags. Greg, you and I, we raced a no save first to lich.
Yep. Yeah, you did the vanilla no save first to lich. That was a lot of fun.
With scaling. Yeah, so I mean, you get a little bit of everything, and it's been great.
Yeah, me and Will Bloodworth and Dark Moon raced a solo black belt with clamped trash and clamped bosses, and it was pretty ugly, to say the least. But we did that, so I mean, it's just fun to do something kind of different. So please join up the community if you're still here and you're watching Durrun finish his thing out. Go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, or we can just go on ahead and put the Discord down there. Join the Discord, hang out with us. If you have no idea what Final Fantasy the original game is, we will help you out. You can ping me, you can ping Guda, you can ping Edgeworth. I just told them to ping you, so now you're gonna get some pings. Sorry, Edgeworth. Oh yeah. And make sure you ping Caleb for sure. Rafe hates Caleb, and that is RAFEHATE CALEB. He loves pings, so make sure you ping him and ping him several times. And he will definitely answer your questions because he loves being pinged.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us are around quite regularly, and we all want to help everybody out. I mean, we'll take you by the hand, walk you through a seed. We have Greg is in charge of the duckling program. Big Papa Duck, Big Puffy Duck. I don't remember what you were a couple months ago, but
it was Big Puffy Duck. But then I switched it to Big Papa Punch.
Oh yeah, you're Big Papa Punch now.
Oh my God! So yesterday during the race, somebody mentioned Steiner math, and I almost lost it. I couldn't even handle it. I was like, "What?"
That's so good. But yeah, so we have a duckling program. Will Cleosis, I see him in chat. He helped usher in the duckling program a few years ago to make sure that everybody who comes to the Discord has knowledge of what SRL is. We can help you set up SRL. That's what I was doing with Durrun here before. Setting up SRL, making sure his ROM worked, making sure everything was good to go, because we want to make sure that everybody is set up for success. And then on top of that, I know Greg's been doing boot camp, like the spring tournament boot camp, getting everybody ready. And once the spring tournament wraps up, we're going to have a whole new batch of ducklings. And hopefully sometime in the fall, we'll have another duckling derby, which is just a race between all the ducklings. So, I mean, yeah, Greg helps put that in and work with the ducklings, and it's amazing. I went through the duckling program last year after spring tournament, and it was good because I had no idea what entrance and floor shuffle was, no idea what was a key item, what wasn't. Helps you learn how to set flags in the randomizer. It is amazing.
Well, I really appreciate those comments. And yeah, I mean, we just do kind of a duckling derby, which is basically instead of racing other people that will just completely destroy you, you race against people of the same skill level. And then you become the Duckling Supreme, which is a pretty cool little title to have. Flags are a little bit scaled down from what you see in spring tournament, like 150, one loose item, maybe masses in the incentive pool, just those kind of things. And then we have all kinds of links and resources as well that will help you figure out what does incentive mean. When ice is incentive, what does that mean? We got maps all over the place. We have just kind of everything. And Caleb, you pinned Caleb and he didn't respond? Hold on, let me shoot him a ping real quick and figure out what's going on.
He might be busy at this point. I don't know. Oh, the people are pinging me now too. What's happening here?
Yeah, I just got a ping as well. But yeah, again, just join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. I think it's great times. Guda, he's one of our arbiters. If you have an issue with somebody, he'll handle it.
We have a very, very strict anti-bullying policy in place, and we don't take any guff from anybody. So I mean, don't feel afraid to join the community. I mean, we're all nice, we're all awesome, and we have arbiters in place and mods in place, so that way people don't get bullied.
Yeah. So Durrun, he has finally made his way down to the bottom of Volcano. Gonna check some of these chests. There was nothing I remember seeing down here that was like really anything except for a black shirt, maybe. He's got a katana. That katana's not gonna do anything for his party. Silver bracelet, eh. And then you got the wizard pack. No one likes to see that.
Especially when all you've got is lit 2 to take care of it. It's a bit of a slog.
Yeah. Do we play on a computer? Yes. Most runners, Shuby123, most of us do play on emulators. I know I do. Some people are keyboard warriors. I use a USB controller. You can use hardware if you want to, and don't ask me about hardware. No, I don't know anything about that stuff. I use emulators, and yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of different ways you can play Final Fantasy Randomizer.
Yeah, I also use computer, and then I have a Xbox One controller that I wire in to play. I know there are people who use Bluetooth controllers. As far as I know, a lot of Crab Cake, Zenobian, and I think Spellzap are all using keyboard to control. So when you see their menuing going absolutely nuts, that is how they use keyboard. And keyboard is, in my opinion, by far the fastest. But at this point, I have been using a controller for 30 years.
Yeah, and Mage Rayon wondering, can he play it on his calculator? Sure, make it happen. I don't know. Does it have an emulator? Does it run?
I do know people play on their phones.
Yeah.
And their tablets.
I mean, I use a controller, which is why I'm no good at this game. I use the Buffalo Eye, which looks like a Super Nintendo controller. It's pretty cool. So we talked about who we want to see. So I'm also want to know. I beat Dark Moon on the first night. Will Cleosis cast that. It was very nice of him to show up. Him and Will Bloodworth. And gosh, I'm kind of on the same boat as you. I definitely don't want to see Thunder. I don't want to see Thunder. He's really good. Of course, I don't know. Crab Cakes and Spellzap, they're just so good. Like, if I went up against them, I'd be like, nah, I guess I just lost. I may as well just try not to embarrass myself too much. Kind of like what you said. You may as well get that loss out of the way.
Yeah, and the thing I love about these flags, though, is that a lot of it really does come down to where the loose items end up and whether or not you actually need them. So we have 3 duds in the pool and only 2 loose. So there is the potential that you might not need to find either loose, or there's the potential that you might end up being able to skip 2 or 3, or about 1 or 2 dungeons. The most I think I've skipped is 1, but I know somebody skipped 2 the other day and pulled off like an hour and 6-minute seed, which is just bananas. But don't look now, Durrun's going to light his first orb.
Yeah, it looks like he has pulled up Carrie. He's going to throw a fade out for 214. 4 hits 308, and he is just put away Carrie like she is not even anything. Like, just Was that even a boss?
Yeah, and then with 230% scaling, Carrie can be a little nasty. She can roll really up on hits and really up on damage. So Carrie's not somebody to slough on. Even Carrie 1.
So yeah, the fire orb lit for Durrun, and now oh, there we go. For a new player, knows the Oasis trick. That's a good sign.
Yeah, he obviously must have seen that somewhere, because I did not know that was actually a thing until I started doing the randomizer. I saw somebody land on the thing and then go up and down, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't know you could land on the Oasis. That's crazy. So as far as Ronnie is concerned, I mean, he's lit up his first orb. He's got his fire orb. He's got his Oxiel out of Volcano, and he's going to go on ahead and do the waterfall, I assume, and also check Sea Shrine for that incentive item down there, which means he's going to put himself in a pretty good spot because he's going to get his key, he's going to get his loot, and looks like he's going to go on ahead and head into Onrak and just check out what's going on here. So at the beginning of the game, you know, camping gear was kind of whatever. Was it nice to see? Was it nice to see camping gear like kind of cheap once you finally got to tents in Crescent?
Yeah, it was nice to see something cheap, considering heal pots were over 100 gold each.
Yeah, we actually talked about that a little bit. How cabins were like close to 200, heals were over 100, and houses were close to 3,000. So camping gear was not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. But once you got over to Crescent, you could finally get those tents for 11. So Durrun, he's in Onrak. He's gonna talk. He's gonna talk to everybody, and then I assume he's gonna head down to sea here just a little.
Just having a friendly chat with Cope, huh? Must be a Falconic fan.
All right, guys. Well, it's 5:15, and I gotta get jetting here. So I'd love to stay in chat, but
Yeah, GG's to you, man. I know you got to be pretty excited to be 1-0 right now. So yeah, we'll see you next week, and we'll see who you take on of the other 1-0.
yeah, Monday night's gonna be intense. There's a lot of really good racers in this pool, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, so again, kind of the Swiss format. You know, you start off kind of on a clean slate. Everybody's 0-0. All the 0-0s fight each other. You got your group of 1-0s, and you got your group of 0-1s. And your 0-1s take on each other, and your 1-0s take on each other. And then you got your groups of 2-0, 1-1s, and 0-2s, and so forth and so on. And we do that over 6 weeks. So that makes sure that everybody gets to race at least 6 weeks. What we decided to do from then is anybody that's 6-0, which with 74 people in, we'll probably have about 2 6-0s. They'll be our top seeds. Our 5-1s will be, you know, kind of lower than that, and we'll use kind of a strength of schedule to figure that out. And then after that, we'll have one big old race between the 4 and 2s to fill out the last little bit of the 16-person bracket to kind of get to our tournament part of it, our bracket stages. And then from there, it's just going to be best 2 out of 3 or best of 3 until we finally get to our champion. So spring tournament is going to last a pretty long time. We got to get through the 6 weeks of Swiss and then the 4 weeks of brackets, and it should be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's gonna be tons of fun. Yeah. So I'd like to thank Speed Gaming. I'd like to thank Durrun for coming out and racing on SG Prime. Thanks Edge, Greg Lee, MG Weirdo, And I believe Kirito was our restreamer tonight. So thanks everybody for putting this on. This was a great time, and glad I got a chance to get out here midday SG Prime and get this day rolling. We got a long, fun day of FFR to go.
Yeah, and it's our tracker MG Weirdo posted down there. Just make sure you follow your tracker, your 2 comms, your 2 runners, Durrun and guda632, myself, Gregory Puff, and Edgestream, and of course MG Weirdo. Give us a follow, hang out with us, see what we have to offer here on Twitch, as Durrun just kind of hanging out in Onrack, seeing what's going on. Looks like he's going to go on ahead and head up to Waterfall.
Gonna help himself to some nachos here. Always a good time.
I mean, nachos are pretty good, especially in this day and age. I mean, I'm all about the nachos. He's going to head into Waterfall. Hopefully he did a little bit of map stress before he headed into here.
Oh gosh, at least it's not Procgen. Oh, there's those poison mud goals. So yeah, I think Waterfall's kind of an underrated place to pick up some levels. There are some pretty nice enemies if you have the tools to get some experience here. The Wizmummy packs are pretty solid. The mud goals can be taken down pretty easily if you've got a couple of good physical fighters. Oh, poison hitting a lot this time. Uh-oh. One man left. Get out of there. Now, do you have any soft potions? Ah, you're well stocked. We're good. So, yeah, you've got mud goals. With the Group 8 shuffle, you can actually run into gas dragons, which one gas dragon is pretty solid. Even the Paralisks, because how many you run into aren't too bad experience-wise. So it's a pretty good place to go, especially before a Sea Shrine dive, if you can pull it off. Just invest some time, get some levels, feel a lot better going into Sea with more spell charges.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with what you're saying there. I mean, if you got exit and warp, and everything here gives you pretty decent experience, especially the Perilous, because they typically roll low. And if you get like a 7, 8, 9 pack of them, and they aren't doing anything dumb like Thunder, then you can knock them down pretty quickly and get some levels.
Another dead end, but almost there. You got nightmares with Trance too. Come on, and Fire 3. This is just rude.
Yeah, unfortunately, Durrun has just gotten the tail end of this, just the bad end of this run. He's seen everything that I feel like Guda never saw.
Yeah, and that's just a randomizer thing. Just enemy scripts and turn order could just can hang 20 minutes on you real easy.
Yeah, I think that's something Edgeworth can definitely attest to. There have been times for sure you go back and watch a stream that you've lost and you see them and you completely struggled against like Chaos or Tia 2, and they were able to just go in there and like one-shot Tia, and you're like, you didn't see anything. That's not fair. As Durrun picks up his loose crown and his key, or his herb.
Yeah, so getting the goods there, and yeah, it's kind of like last tournament. You didn't see those Death Touch Gargoyles at all, huh?
Nope, just they didn't exist. No. So we're going to keep an eye on Durrun. It looks like he got out of here. He's not going to go to Sea Shrine, but he definitely has the Oxio. I think he's going to go on ahead and do these fetch quest things, turn in his crown, and he will get his tail. And we already know from the herb quest that he will get the Thor's hammer, which is going to be a big womp womp.
It is pretty solid to get the Thor's hammer before going into sea, especially with how much that our Sahag Wissahag group likes to show up. So if you can at least have that on one of the melee characters, it can make a big difference in the turn order.
Yeah, I definitely don't hate, I mean, it definitely feels bad to find the Thor's hammer, but I don't hate it. Specifically where you find it, like you said. I mean, since C is incentivized, it is nice to have free lit 2s going through there.
Yeah, it's one of those items that's a lot better to find earlier than later. That is for sure.
Yeah, but he goes on ahead. He doesn't even bother turning in the herb. He's going to do promotion. He's going to take those papers up the PR herb. Sorry. He's going to
take those papers up to HR.
That's what I meant to say. Sorry.
No worries.
And unfortunately, since he is kind of a newer runner, he's not going to use the exit strats to get out of here. So he's going to walk his way out of Bahamut's cave.
No, I mean, like you take them up to HR. You gotta do that victory strut past everybody on the way back to your desk, right?
Exactly. Let everybody know what you've been up to,
or your new corner office.
And then what does he do at this point? We've been through Ice Cave. Has he done Ordeals yet? I don't think Ordeals has been done. And Ordeals was required not for the incentive item, but the rod was loose there, correct?
Yeah, that's right. The rod was kicking around in there. So that is
and the key was also there. So yes, it was very, very much required.
But we're gonna see the herb turn in first, and here we go.
He's heading back into Elfland. He's going to check some magic spells and see if there's anything he can pick up for his newly promoted party members. We know he can pick up Invis 2 and Fade on his knight. His black belt, unfortunately, can't really do anything. And that's kind of the tough part about running a fighter black belt party, is that, you know, you need to get those levels on the black belt for him to do anything, but you can't keep them both alive.
Yeah, it's tough because you really want to do some sort of grind with the black belt, but at the same time, you also want to open a lot of chests to try to find those two loose items. So it's kind of, by the time you know whether or not your equipment is good and you want to do a black belt grind or not, it's an hour into the seed, and that's a real uncomfortable time to do a grind.
Yeah, I mean, I've done kind of all different sort of strats. I mean, especially with the new thief buffs, just to see how that would work. And yeah, I mean, these are still pretty much fighter flags, because you've got to open up so many strats, or so many chests. And with the spike tiles completely randomized, you don't know if you're going to actually get a good grind for your black belt.
Yeah, I remember there was another seed where I had to go to 42 punching nightmares and evil men in the basement of Marsh Cave, or not Marsh Cave, but Earth Cave. So yeah, the B-side trap tiles, I mean, you can find some good stuff like 3 Eyes or Double Fighter, but you can also find nothing, and it's a little bit of a risk right on the party selection screen. So time to finish off picking up some of those magic spells. Cure 4 on the Knight is going to be real nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that as much as we'd like to stay here and watch the rest of the seed play out, not only is Final Fantasy Randomizer doing their spring tournament, but A Link to the Past Randomizer and Super Metroid Randomizer are also doing tournaments. So we have all kinds of matches all over the place here on speedgaming.com, or I'm sorry, twitch.tv/speedgaming. So they need to go on ahead and get set up for their next race that's going to be starting here at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So I feel bad for Durrun. I feel really bad that we're going to have to cut him off here and move on to our next game. But any final thoughts from you, Edgeworth, about how this seed went?
No, it looked like it was a pretty smooth victory for Guda. Made a lot of good decisions and executed very well. So I'm hoping to see some continued success for him in the tournament. And as for Durrun, this has definitely been a learning experience, and I hope Durrun has fun with the seed and sticks with it, because this really is a blast of a randomizer to play, and just we as a community are pretty good at teaching new players. So if you're interested and you want to give this a shot, I highly encourage you to join the Discord and see what's going on.
Yeah, and obviously don't forget to follow whoever you need to follow here. I mean, myself, Edgeworth, our tracker today is MG Weirdo. Follow guda632. Durrun is obviously still doing his run, so go on ahead and give him a follow. Hang out with him on Twitch and give him a little boost of confidence to get through the rest of the seed. And as for Edgeworth and myself, I thank you guys for watching us. Continue to watch the rest of our races through spring tournament the next 6 weeks, and then of course the bracket stages after that. Everybody have a wonderful night, and we'll see you around. Have a good one. Thank you again.